Welcome back to College Football Live. The latest AP poll is out, and Georgia still remains #1. Not a shocker. The Bulldogs received 57 first-place votes after blowing out Clemson on Saturday. Including this week, there have been 50 AP poll releases since 2021. The Bulldogs have been ranked #1 in 38, or 76% of the time. Whoa. All right, let's take a look at this week's college football rankings brought to you by Goodyear. The biggest news is that Florida State has dropped out of the top 25 after their 0-2 start. Texas A&M joins them after their loss to Notre Dame, falling out of the rankings from 20th. Now, Notre Dame, as a result, moves up to 7th to 5th, which is the highest they can go, while Oregon drops from 3rd to 7th. All right, let's start at the top. UGA, what kind of statement did they make to the rest of college football with their win Saturday, Sam?
Well, it made a huge statement to college football. I was expecting this game to be a lot closer. Clemson's defense was great last year, and Clemson offensively has made improvements, even adding a new offensive line coach who was at Georgia to make them tougher. But Georgia and this offense imposed their will from start to finish, not just in the run game, but also in the passing game and also on defense. At halftime, this game was close, but then Georgia kept on pushing and pressing and showing their dominance over a Clemson team that I still think is a really, really good football team.
Yes, Sam, you hit it on the head when you said that at halftime, the game was close. It was only 6-0, and Georgia just didn't look great in the first half at all. I was actually surprised that they got off to such a slow start. I know Trevor Etienne didn't play. He couldn't play. So I understood maybe the running game would struggle a little bit, but you got Carson Beck, and this guy's supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. And so the second half, though, they showed Clemson that there's levels to this and that they were going to out-physical them. So they made great halftime adjustments and came out and just punished the Clemson Tigers. And I was actually surprised that Cade Klubnik, his second year under O.C. Garrett, the O.C. Garrett did not make the big jump that I expected him to make. He just looked like the same Cade Klubnik. So I was kind of surprised about that offensively from Clemson. I know Georgia has a great defense, but still, you're Clemson, you recruit well, you recruit high, and that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, the second half was incredibly disappointing if you're a Clemson fan. Now, Clemson is hanging on as the last team in the AP Top 25. Sam, what changes do they need to make going forward to stay in?
I would tell Clemson, don't panic. Don't press the panic button right now. Let's say Georgia is just far and above away. At this point in the season, far and above away better than a majority of college football teams. Well, you're not going to play Georgia every single week, and you have time to get better, have time to find your identity. We talked about the offensive line getting better with the new coaches. Talked about that would help Cade Klubnik. Talked about receivers also stepping up. And then the defense as well. The defense has to be able to make their mark and say, okay, what we did in the first half, let's replicate that in the second half. It's a one-possession game, a one-score game. Let's not panic, but let's find what we did in the first half really well, and let's get better as the season goes on. And so for me, I'm not pressing the eject button by any means. I'm saying, okay, that team was better than us now, but as we continue to progress, we'll be ready.
Yeah, let's not jump too quickly yet. Now, some of the more notable moves, including Notre Dame cracking the top 5 after their big win, and USC jumping from 23rd to 13th after beating LSU. And Oregon won this week, but just barely over Idaho, and as a result, they dropped 4 places. So, Des, what move surprises you the most?
I was surprised that Oregon, they actually dropped 4 spots to number 7. Now, I understood they didn't look great against Idaho, but it's, 4 spots is a huge drop. And then USC, they went up 10 spots to number 13 by beating LSU. So those 2 moves really kind of surprised me. The Oregon Ducks, the team I picked to win the national championship, they dropped 4 spots, and USC, they vaulted 10 spots up to number 13.
That dang duck.
The one that surprised me the most, Des, is your alma mater only dropping 1 spot. Michigan looked sloppy offensively. It wasn't impressive no matter who was at quarterback. And so I'm looking at not only the quarterback position, but the offensive line. You used to seeing a bunch of bullies on the offensive line pushing people around. That wasn't the case. And so I was expecting a little bit maybe more of a drop, though it was week 1.